presentation, abbreviation of that today to talk a little bit about what you might have missed. The point of this is cannabis branding. It's how to stand out amongst the crowd. You might have seen some other presentations of this. The bottom line here, and if you visited our booth in any of the places across the country that we've been traveling and speaking, you'll know that a lot of what we're talking about is cannabis doesn't sell itself. It's how to sell cannabis and how to differentiate yourself from the crowd. So welcome today. We are live on Facebook Live, so any questions that you have automatically, feel free to shoot those at me, and we'll answer those real time here in the next 30 minutes or so. All right, so let's begin. So cannabis branding, it's how to stand out amongst the crowd. It's solutions to creating your own cannabis brand. And so I'm your presenter, Sean Eubanks, Vice President of Business Development with STRAINWISE Consulting. And one of the key reasons why we started to do this is our CEO, Erin Phillips, decided that, hey, she realized that we weren't going to get anywhere in this industry with just one store and no brand. Hence, that's how Strainwise got started, and then quickly ballooned to 9 stores. And of course, we're one of the top 5 marijuana companies in the state of Colorado. We are also the Strainwise Consulting arm, and I'll remind you guys of why you're tuning in and why it's relevant to listen to what we have to say. We are the most sought-after consulting company for applications and management contracts in the cannabis industry. We consulted on the very first recreational license in the world. We have about a 95% success rate on all applications submitted. These are applications to get your license. We have over 200 applications submitted. We have 9 branded dispensaries throughout the state of Colorado, more than 160,000 square feet of cultivation space as well. And we were listed at Forbes as one of the top 50 publicly traded marijuana companies as well. We also were a consultant to the very first vertically integrated Native American tribe selling cannabis in the United States. So that's us, that's who we are. Okay, so back to branding here. So the definition of branding here, a lot of people get confused on branding and marketing. What's the difference? Do they mesh together, and is that even important? Branding here, as Webster defines it, the promoting of a product or service by identifying it with a particular brand. What is branding? Is it more than just a logo? And so the answer is yes. And so what makes a brand, I have this divided up into 3 sections here. So the first one is who you are. And the second one is who you tell people you are. And third is who people think you are. So with who you are, you have direct control over this part of the branding. This is your logo, packaging, store design and layout, what products you produce and sell. The second one is who you tell people you are. You also have direct control over this part of your brand. This is made up of your brand voice, advertising channels, social media channels, etc. And third is who people think you are. So this is what are people saying about your brand, what comes to mind when they think of your brand, and what kind of experience they have in your store. All right, so first example here is just Strainwise, who we are. SDWC Holdings is the publicly traded side. Strainwise Consulting is the other one, and then we started with just Strainwise, the retail stores at Strainwise Higher Living. And so during logo development, you're going to want to start with a black and white logo. Use the primary logo as the base, and then you can create stacked, full color, and various other iterations for different uses. So we have the THC molecule that's here, and then you can see the development that starts with that and goes on. After the development of the black and white logo, we're going to go into logo expansion. You can see here we have Strainwise Higher Living, we have Strainwise Consulting, and we also have Strainwise University, which is our online platform for education. And then below that, you can see that each of our stores, the Annie, the Grove, the Haven, the Range, the Retreat, the Ridge, the Sanctuary, the Shelter, the Spring, all are iterations of that original logo with different color variations, all a Strainwise branded dispensary. And so you can see the sort of maturation of the logo that way. All right, so one of the things I want to focus on today is avoiding the cliche. Obviously, cliche is something that has become overly used or overly familiar, too commonplace. The cannabis industry is riddled with cliche brands, from canna names, cannabis leaves, green crosses, pretty much as far as the eye can see. So cliches in general in the cannabis industry, you've got the weed leaf first. The weed leaf is symbolic and makes it instantly recognizable. That cannabis is what you and your company are about. You and everyone else in the industry, by the way, has adopted this symmetrical plant leaf. The next one up you'll see is the cross. The cannabis legalization begins with medical marijuana And while the medicinal properties of the plant are a strong legalization driving force, the cross has been appropriated by the industry in mass numbers. So the third thing is the color green. Cannabis plants are green, of course, so companies have taken up green as their primary color for their brands. This wouldn't be a problem if there weren't so many companies that did the exact same thing. So it should be noted that the word green has also become cliche. All right, so cliche number one, weed leaf. I sort of break this down. You have an odd number of leaflets. There's various thickness. You have thickness of leaflets for sativa, indica. It's iconic. Everyone understands what that leaf means. All right, so what I want to do is kind of show you exact case studies here that we've done. This one comes from the publication The Westward. The Westward's put out by Voice Media Group. Outstanding magazine, very cannabis friendly. Of pages 49 through 72 have cannabis advertisements on them. And the Westward has long been an advocate. If you're here in Colorado, please pick up a copy, support their publication. As some of you may know, that in the state of Colorado, we have strict advertising requirements. All of us in the industry have to abide by certain rules, and the name of the game there is that they're restrictive. However, in Colorado, they take it up a notch, and you have to prove in certain publications that your audience is more than 70% above age, things like that. So we're very, very grateful for what the Westward has done to move the industry forward. All right, so of this particular publication, you have 23 pages that are cannabis advertisements. And so that's 31% of the total pages of this magazine are devoted to cannabis advertisements. All right, so when you open this publication, you'll see that, of just a 2-page ad, you have 25 weed leaf ads, individual ads that are containing weed leaf brands. You have 7 more regular leaf ads. And so when you open this up, you can see this sort of, you're sort of inundated here with so many different leaves, if you will, even if they're not cannabis leaves. So overdone for sure. And these are iconic brands. These are really, really good brands. You'll see in the Westward ourselves and other companies as well. All right, so the second thing we look at is the cross. We're going to kind of dive into that. The truth is that every market that has started out as in cannabis has opened up as medicinal first. So the cross is instantly associated with medicine. It's necessary. It does have medicinal properties. Cannabis does, of course. However, this cross can be confusing in adult market. And so remember, you start out as medical, and then you eventually will evolve to a recreational or adult use market. So this cross, if it's shown on your dispensary, it can be confusing to recreational customers. Recreational meaning you don't need a license, right? You don't need a medical card to buy cannabis. So if they see the cross, they might be confused at that and decide, oh my gosh, that's medical only, I can't buy cannabis there. That has happened. It does happen. It's happening still today. A lot of people in the industry, we've been giving this presentation or something like this across the country. People are very receptive to it. Rooms are full of people who want to hear about cannabis branding, and I'm starting to see a lot of people shift. Even the great Harborside that was in Oakland, California, originally had a pot leaf in their logo, and they've since moved on there. So that's the trend, and obviously they lead the industry in a lot of ways, not only in advocacy, but they have great dispensaries as well. So if you're ever out in Oakland, stop by and visit those guys. But everybody's changing and moving away from that. So you're going to hear the things I'm talking about being parroted by other people, and that's certainly spreading. And these cliches and kind of busting the cliches has been effective. So. All right, case study 2. So we're looking at cross ads here. Again, from the Westward, Voice Media Group. So pages 49 through 72 have cannabis advertisements. You open it up, you've got 15 cross ads on one page. And this is individual ads containing cross brands. You've got some great iconic brands here, Live Well and Lightshade and others here. So really, really good companies. They do a great job. Obviously sell a lot of cannabis, very successful in the space, but still you can see a ton of crosses still in those advertisements. The third cliche is the color green. So the color green, obviously the vast majority of plants that that perform photosynthesis are green. The main product produced by the cannabis plants also green. I like the color psychology associated with green, right? It's growth, nature, peace, energy. All those things are a symbolic of the cannabis industry. In general, you'll see that. So that makes sense. And when people dive into the color psychology, you can see why the color green has taken us this far. And a quick word on, I'm not being critical of people that use, you're not necessarily going to go out of business if you still have a cross or you have the marijuana leaf or the color green. I just want to point out that this is where we started. And in 2009, when we got in this business, you had to identify yourself as a place to buy cannabis. That was absolutely, you needed to differentiate and say, look, this is a place to buy cannabis because it was rare. And then we won the very first recreational license in the world and shifted over to recreational licenses. We had shifted away. So if you look at the Strainwise logo and what that's about, we were trendsetters. Aaron Phillips, our CEO, took a massive risk because we never had the marijuana leaf in our logo, and we never had the color green, and we never had, hey, buy marijuana here. Look, we have a mature looking brand. The vision from the very beginning. There will be a massive roll up in this industry, and we hope to participate in that. And so we like to build brands that other people find attractive and other people can endorse as well. So, but I want to point out that how revolutionary that was in the very beginning. Here are all these pot leaves and green crosses and green colors, and here's Strainwise by itself. And you might have noticed the word strain in there, but it was still a huge risk that paid dividends, and now you'll see more people trying to mimic what Strainwise did in the very beginning. So it's a compliment to us for sure. All right, case study 3 on the color green here. Again, we're using Westward, Voice Media Group, same pages, 49 through 72. Of these, 47 of these advertisements have green logo brand ads. So individual ads whose brand logo is green. And you even have same day MMJ doctor evaluations. That's a doctor advertisement to write a prescription. Even they are inundated with green. It looks basically like a sea of green here when you look at it. You have 7 ads with the word green in it, and then you have 64 ads that are green. I mean, so very hard to stand out, very hard to differentiate yourself here in this sea of green. So, cliche recap. You have the weed leaf, overused, iconic, but everywhere, low-hanging fruit, right, everyone? You understand what that is, what that business provides. You have the cross, excuse highly medical only, more ambiguity in this situation, more confusing in adult markets, and it could cost you clients. So, note that cross. Finally, the color green, most used trope, difficult to stand out, becomes basically a big ocean of green. So, we're avoiding that. Also want to say you're also seeing a flight from the word canna. I had a chance to meet the guys from ArcView, sit in on some of their Shark Tank-like presentations in Oakland a couple of weeks ago, and their situation was you'd come up and you could pitch your idea to them and they would give you feedback. And one person wasn't in the cannabis industry at all, so could offer some different perspectives, and you could kind of see the questions that she had. Another person just kept saying over and over again, hey, no canna. Drop the word canna, not the word weed. He's adamant about that. In other words, for those who are seeking capital for investment, this guy was over and over, kept repeating himself, change the name, no canna, no canna. So that appears not only from people like us who are advising people on how to market and brand, but also investors are now rejecting the word canna. So just make a note of that. I will check Facebook Live and see if any questions are coming over. Guys, you are welcome to fire questions at me, and I will happily answer those for you. Let's see here. Just a quick check on that. All right, no comment so far. Let's say feel free to ask questions. Hey, the great part about doing these presentations when I'm live is that people will often fire questions at me. And that's what I do. I generally would do a 20-minute speech, and because I don't want to listen to myself talk any more than you probably do, I simply just want to give you the information and start an engaging dialogue. So this works well, and at this point in the presentation, I'm always like, hey, fire questions, and people are comfortable and they'll raise their hand. So if you're on Facebook Live, you have questions, feel free to shoot them at me. I want to make sure, I'd love to help you with your specific brand while we're here for the next 15 minutes or so. All right, so back to That part. So the next part of this is we show one of our type of ads. So this is a year-end sale last year. We've got all of our stores listed here, but this is a basically blue, purple, yellow, light baby blue here. And then inviting you to visit our locations, but it's a double spread ad, and you can't tell it's marijuana until you look at it. So in this instance, even if you're doing the bare minimum and you're not working with a professional that's done this before, built several brands and done things like this, that you want to stand out and be different. So at the very least, just go away from what all the other ads are doing in a publication, and you're probably 50% of the way there. This is our, we have a brand voice. Everything is on brand, and the tone, the message, the other channels, the advertising, marketing, all has a purpose. And so we run what is easily considered a campaign. So you've got print media, and then you've got messages all the way through, including emailing to our database of about 30,000 people who have reached out to us and consumed products from us or contacted us on the consulting side. So we have a really, really ready-made audience to get this message out, and it's just consistent along all those medias. All right, brand voice continued. Maintaining consistent brand voice across multiple channels. We covered that. For those of you who can't see the screen, you've just got different types of ads here that would go maybe in a webinar invite versus a full page ad. This is a half page ad, and then a cover of a magazine as well. So really, really good stuff, and it gets the job done here. You can see. In Colorado, we're in heavy price competition right now. We have been for the past couple of years. When your state goes recreational and adult use, you're going to have stiff competition there. It takes about 3 years. Took us about 3 years in the state of Colorado for medical and recreational to kind of catch up, and so you'll see a drop in the medical renewing of the medical cards, and then more consumption on the recreational side, and then more consumption on the recreational side leads it to competition. We have a capitalistic model here in Colorado, heavy competition, low barriers to entry to open a dispensary here, and hence you get better prices and a better product to the consumer at the end of the day. But on the company side for us, you can see that you're competing for $69 ounce at times, $80 ounces on medical, things like that. So kind of the nature of the beast. You can see that Blunt Business is our podcast. It's our Strainwise Consulting podcast. I'm the host of that show. We do that every Wednesday, and what we'll do there is you can see that when our advertisements, we're receiving those, it's still on brand, even though that is a whole different channel that we're advertising and promoting as well. So. And then this next slide shows an example of our webinars. So those of you that are tuning into webinars and looking at on that side, you'll see this screen, but you'll notice we've got the overlay. Here's an example of an Arkansas webinar, how to construct a cannabis application there in the state of Arkansas. And so we got the state capitol there overlaid with the Strainwise logo. Very, very classy, well done, on brand there. Then we move into the retail side of things. So apparel, merchandise, things like that. We've got some great pictures here, and we've got those on the Strainwise website as well. But you can see some of our team members here. There's a lifestyle thing, part of it, consumption there, and then so a bunch of different pictures and showing that and showing our iconic Strainwise logo, basically. Strainwise Higher Living is the retail side of things, and that apparel is being developed now on a pretty serious level, pretty significant traction and improvements along the line. So stay tuned for apparel and things that are coming up here. Second thing is merchandise here, and it kind of shows the differentiations there. You've got polo shirts for the guys, you got tank tops and hoodies. Even bandanas and t-shirts as well, just kind of a variety there of merchandise. So when building a brand, you're going to be looking at all these things, and not only do we have the retail locations, we've got the Strainwise Consulting arm, and then we have Strainwise University, which is our education platform. We also have a nonprofit education, consumer-based education program called Consume Intelligently, which actually states have contacted us and tried to emulate that program and ask us to assist them in that sort of program. Think of sort of like a DARE. This Consume Intelligently is to help people understand the dangers of consuming cannabis and educate them. And so state governing bodies really, really appreciate that as they're developing their programs and doing that. But bottom line is, it doesn't matter if on the retail side, the consulting side, the educational platforms, and even merchandise. You're all of that is planned out and worked accordingly there. Any questions on there so far? Okay, I don't see any either. All right, so brand voice recap. So advertising, print ads, electronic ads, in-store flyers, marketing, social media channels, brand tone. Retail side of things, we have a very straightforward approach to how we take care of customers, and the bottom line is we take care of them. Most of the time it ends up in some concession of some way. If they're not happy with the product, if there's a trend or something like that, we can go to the manufacturer if these aren't our own in-house products, but most likely we're helping them and compensating them in some way. We have great membership loyalty programs as well. We have SMS marketing programs that go out and market directly to our consumers based on what they have purchased, and this relevant information that goes to their phone. If you're not doing that type of SMS marketing, please do that. Look that up. Get started with that immediately. That is a tremendous return on investment for you. All right, so as we go into who people think you are, it's often different, right? On the personal level, we have an opinion of ourselves of this is how I am in the community, this is who I am as a person, and then if you start to ask some people, maybe you get some compliments, but sometimes you'll hear some feedback you don't like, and maybe there's a difference between what you think of yourself and then what others will think of you. So on the business side of things, we're trying to manage that the same with a company as you are your personal image and brand. So this includes customer experience. This is how they experience walking into that store. Is it a welcome environment? Are they being educated? Are they helpful to the people, the bud tenders working in there, the managers? Do they want to be there? Are they happy? Do they love this industry? Those kind of things really, really matter. I will say at Strainwise, we hire attitude first. We'll train you, get you technically sound, and help you assist customers, but we can't train your attitude. We can't make you want to be here and things like that. So big deal is unfortunately, you can create a beautiful brand, but if the people that are working for you don't support that and reinforce that message, and they're not doing things that you are treating your customers how you would treat them, sometimes you need to address that. There are going to be problems, and there is going to be bad press. It's really how you handle it. Basics, a lot of this stuff's going to sound like 101 to you guys. I totally understand that. But be active on social media and addressing people's issues. They do not go away. If someone has a complaint, they're not addressed, or they're ignored, or even worse, if they're deleted, you're going to have a big problem on your hands. It's going to be someone's going to be enthusiastically trying to give you bad press, and you don't want that. So perception continued. We got several pictures of inside our stores here in Colorado. This stuff matters. Is it consistent? When someone goes to a Strainwise store, they see that, and when they go to the next one, they can expect that, and they expect the same type of message and same type of familiarity there. And you'll see that. You'll have our biggest challenge is keeping product on the shelf, right? And as you get into this business and you start to figure out how you want to cultivate and what type of products that you want to offer, really you're going to be listening to your customers on the back end of that. And if they're buying every single thing that you sell, that's a great thing. It presents challenges for the supply chain and making sure you're growing and quickly gets you into perpetual harvest, and it changes how quickly you cut down plants and things like that. So the reality we find when we're working with clients and helping them to kind of recover their store or get better, or marketing and branding, we often, when we talk to a cannabis entrepreneur, we're sort of like, oh yeah, it's different than you thought, right? It's different. You had this image of how the market would be, but the market's changing daily and weekly. So they're getting more savvy, asking for different products, but you want to make sure that things are laid out in a way that that serves their needs. There's a lot going on in these pictures. There's a lot of, even the retail space, I could probably spend about an hour talking about retail space and the importance of it, and then feedback on certain brands. Sometimes they don't want to hear this, but the packaging, a lot of times you're limited to a certain amount of space. And then packaging can dominate. I mean, people buy packaging, they don't buy the product. I know we would think they're buying that product, they're buying the packaging. So we're working with the manufacturers on how to balance what their idea, their goal, which is to dominate shelf space, just like anyone would at Walmart or a big box store, with the fact that, hey, we've only got so much space for you, that sort of thing. So, and then obviously managing our own products as well. So a lot going on. Okay, so brand perception recap. Remember, at the store level, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do at the store level. It doesn't matter what's going on online if they're having a terrible experience in your store. Problem resolution, that goes without saying. You want to make sure that you're taking care of that. And then product quality, unfortunately, even though we're in a sort of hyper communication mode where everybody's talking constantly, you feel like you're 100% connected all the time. A lot of times you're not going to get the feedback that you want. So how you're getting feedback from your customers is very, very important. How they give that to you is important. And if you're asking for it, if you're not asking for it, as a general rule, you need to be asking for it. If you have further questions about how to get feedback and how to develop products based on what your customers are asking for and that demographic around the store needs, so reach out to me and we can talk further about that. Okay, guys, I hope this was a great overview for you. Just want to remind you that Strainwise Consulting, we do everything from seed to sale. We can help you with the application. The most important part is getting your license. A lot of people try to focus on raising capital before. I would say hire the best company you can that has experience in competitive markets to write the application for you first. Get that going, and trust me, the capital will flow after that. Because once you win the license, if it's done correctly, written correctly, and you have the right team behind you, once you win that license, capital will come in because you now actually have an asset. So hope that's helpful. We can help you with best practices from retail, testing product, point of sale, management systems, packaging and labeling, transportation, marketing, branding, social media, obviously. And then one of the things we also do really well is minimizing the negative impact on your community. And when we write these applications, we have a community outreach plan. I've done webinars on that. You can find those on our YouTube channel. I do want to invite you all to go to bluntbusinessradio.com. Sign up for that podcast. We produce that every week. Cannabis Radio is behind that. The production team is just outstanding. There's a lot of information on how to help you get in this business. It's obviously Blunt Business Radio is the name of it. We've been producing for about a year now. It's really been incredible. So the response is there. The other thing you can do is go to our YouTube channel. You can like that, share it, you can be part of that. We do videos every week. And so between the bluntbusinessradio.com and the YouTube channel, so much great content that we're putting out for free to help educate you and get you ready to go and figure out where you are in the process of getting in the cannabis business, because that's what we're about. We're about helping you get into this industry. All right, guys, I will check Q&A one more time. It's been quiet. It's been quiet today. Okay. Good. No questions so far on Facebook Live. I want to thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.